Apple's recent WWDC event brought us our first preview of the upcoming iPadOS 16 software update that's coming to your iPad in September. Now, if you're an iPad user who always wanted to replace their laptop with this versatile tablet, you may have been disappointed that last year's iPadOS 15 did not bring much in terms of multitasking features. But now, finally with iPadOS 16, desktop-class multitasking is coming to the iPad. But there's a catch with so coming a mile away. Those multitasking features we're about to show you are only coming to iPads with the M1 chip, those being the latest iPad Pro models and the latest iPad Air. Here it is, Apple calls this feature Stage Manager, and it's also coming to the Mac. Finally, the iPad and the Mac are getting similar. With Stage Manager on the iPad, you're basically getting a fixed dock apps that open in overlapping windows, with all of your other currently open windows arranged vertically on the left for easy access. Like on the Mac, you can now resize your iPad windows as you please, move them around, and actually multitask like a pro, beyond the clunky split screen multitasking we had before. You can only imagine how awesome an M1 iPad setup would be if you get a keyboard with a touchpad. It's basically a computer now, well, minus the desktop apps, because yes, Apple did not announce any of those to be coming. We were maybe hoping for Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro or some other desktop grade apps to come to the iPad, but hey, maybe later. At least the M1 iPads are finally going to start taking advantage of all that M1 power with this stronger multitasking. And another feature that's only reserved to the M1 iPad that's coming is true external display support. When connected to an external display, iPads will no longer just mirror their screen at a 4:3 aspect ratio. We're finally getting dual display support, with up to 8 apps running simultaneously split across the two separate displays at up to 6K resolution on the external one. But again, like the multitasking feature we mentioned earlier, true external display support is only going to be available on the M1 iPad Pro and iPad Air models. Now let's talk about the smaller features coming to iPadOS 16 that you will get even if your iPad does not have an M1 chip. A much needed update is coming to the Files app. Well, it's nice that we have it and it delivers some sort of desktop-like file management. It was missing a few key features like the ability to change a file's extension or even see how big a folder is. Well, those two, among other updates to the Files app, are coming with iPadOS 16. Apple is also adding collaboration tools for professionals who use their iPad for work. The coolest one they showcased is this whiteboard-looking screen you can write and draw on, together with all of your friends and colleagues, as long as you're on the same FaceTime call. Seems like a fun way to share ideas and plan stuff. Live text is another feature that's getting an update. Right now, if you open a photo on your iPad, any text on it will be automatically detected. You can select it, copy it, or even translate it, which is handy. But with iPadOS 16, this feature will also start working on videos. According to Apple, you'll be able to pick up text from any frame of any video you have. The Safari web browser is getting a bunch of small but also much needed features too, such as support for push notifications, shared tab groups, the ability to translate text from images, and passkeys, which is Apple's vision of a password-free future. Basically, passkeys will sign you up for websites and apps without you having to manually think of a password, verify an email, and so on. Sounds good. Last and most definitely least, the weather app is finally coming from the iPhone to the iPad. It only took forever, and it's almost funny that this was even a talking point in Apple's presentation, but here it is, the weather app on iPad. Still no calculator app though, maybe next year. Now, which iPads will be getting iPadOS 16? According to Apple, all iPad Pro models, iPad Air 3rd generation and later, the base iPad 5th generation and later, and the iPad mini 5th generation and later. Once again, it's important to keep in mind that some features, most notably Stage Manager, are only coming to M1 iPads as we expected. If you don't have an M1 iPad, well, at least you'll be getting the smaller features plus this lovely new wallpaper. Okay, so this was our first official look at iPadOS 16. While most of the cooler features are limited to M1 iPads, things are definitely looking good. Apple is finally starting to give the iPad the kind of pro user features we've always wanted. In any case, stay tuned to our YouTube channel and PhoneArena.com for more mobile tech updates and reviews. Let us know if you're excited about iPadOS 16 or disappointed in the comments below. And I'll see you next time.